We're on right now.
Okay. Tonight is October 12th, 2022, Lookingglass Rural Fire District Board Meeting. Call to order and start with Pledge of Allegiance.
It's over.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll start us off with a quick lesson. Dear Lord, watch over us and our families. Take care of our community. Keep us clear and steadfast through the winter. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Roll call. Paul Reardon here. Mark Bennett.
Yes.
Bill Starnes.
Here.
Rob McMullen.
Yep.
David Smith.
Yep.
Steve Rhodes.
Here.
Everybody's here. This time there are no additions to the monthly agenda if anybody has anything they want to add. Okay. So we're going to start off because we didn't have a quorum last month. We're going to start with approval of the August financials and the August minutes.
I make a motion to approve the August minutes and financial report.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So the next step would be to approve our September minutes and September financials we're going to go over later, right?
Right.
Yep, so we're going to start with approving the September minutes. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. It's approved. Okay, so then we're on to financial report.
Right. We wrote a lot of checks this last week. This last month was the last of the hired help, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay. We down in money right now. I had to donate, transfer 10,000 last month and another 10,000 this month to cover our bills. So right now, let's see, I don't know how to move this stupid thing anymore. The money market we have $216,173.91. Some of the stuff on the checks here they've got out, but they have not been sent out yet. So the balance on the money market, on the checking account is a little off. They've added what our taxes we're paying.
Yeah, the state tax and the federal tax we have to pay the IRS, which we won't have to pay till next month. They've added that to the bottom. That's about $8,000 in checks.
So we're, according to this, we're minus some cash in our checking account, but I transferred 10,000 in today, and I'll do another 10,000 tomorrow. So I'd like to have this financial approved.
Okay, can we get a motion? Motion to approve
The second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes, paid bills. Okay, do we have a communications report?
I can say that we had 1,323 hits on our website last month. It's just like it's averaging 13 to 1,350 every month, and that's it's still doing that.
That's interesting.
We still have our DFPA's websites up there. Everybody, for the fire danger, I don't know if you guys saw, we went to low for a week or two, and then they turned around and went back to moderate, and they're hanging moderate, I think, till the next spring, probably. So, that's all on that.
Okay, do we have any public comments on agenda items? Nope. Okay, so we are on to Chief's report, sir.
We had 22 calls for September. Most of them are medical and public assist. Didn't have any fires, so that was good. No grass fires there at the end of the season either, so that was good. We had our regional live fire LPG class Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. Had 31 people from other departments of the county Building up to that, Williams Pipeline and Northwest Natural, which are two companies that have underground pipelines going to our area. They came and did some training with us, and then we also had Douglas Electric out for their biannual training. And then we had a safety meeting and an officer meeting. So we staffed the station through September 30th and stopped. There's a lot of benefits to that. We talked about them last month, but we reduced our response times. Got a lot of station work done, and then a lot of pre-planning. Our firefighters, we have a lot of new certifications coming through with rope rescue and strike team leader, which that gives us the ability here within the station to teach all these state classes now without having to send people anywhere else. So the guys have been working really hard on that. Got a couple of explorers still in there hanging with us. We got a lot of equipment in. Part of the reason our bills are so much is we're starting to ramp up all the grant stuff that we had put in for it, and we're starting to get all that equipment in now. The PPE vendor came down and fitted for five people per nutrient house in September, and we'll probably expect those around December. Brush 1080 had a crack in the stainless steel pipes, and the EPA welded it for no cost, so it's nice. And, they've been having some engine code stuff on that new Ford, and there's recalls on it. As soon as fire season's over, we're going to take it in and have all the stuff fixed, the recalls. The facility, we got some, since we had people here, we got some yard tools to maintain grounds and all that kind of stuff, and we got a lock. We had service center, one of our guys, has a locksmith. They put a new lock on that shed outside, so we're not going to lose any of that equipment we bought. That's never been locked up before. The fire trailer's still sitting out here. They got, this county fire training officers got a grant to maintain and repair it, so we're waiting on that. For office, I did the in lieu audit, and we paid the fee for that. We did 6 pay periods of wildland staffing here through September 30th. We were about $720 over afterwards, and we were going to try to cover that out of account 6002, which are professional services. The state, federal, and payroll taxes need to be paid next month. Seismic grant contract. If we do that right now, then we'll have to worry about it in old business. So the RFP went out, the request for proposal. They were due October 6th. They came in, we had 13 people, like 13 companies requested the plans. We only had 2 of them that sent packages in. So it's down between 2 companies, ZCS and WRK for engineering. And then they would be the overall contractors for the project, and they have subcontractors under them for the construction. The reason everybody, a whole bunch of other people requested the plans, and the reason why is because they're all subcontractors that want the work, so they just want to be on the list so that when we do pick whichever company we're going to pick, then they can all apply for the construction jobs. For example, Vanell overhead door, which are here local on Coos Bay Wagon Road, all the doors are going to be replaced, and so they're going to want to get in on that contract and stuff like that. Let's see, the proposals, there they are right there. They had a requirement there's a bunch of requirements, like 2 pages of it to even get through. So what I'm doing right now is going through them to make sure they hit the checklist for the things they had to have in those, because if they didn't, then we can just throw it away. Or not throw it away, eliminate them. And then there's a evaluation process. They're going to be evaluated for 6 different things: from capabilities, project team, experience in seismic rehab, performance and references in the area, project approach, and project location. They're familiarization with us. And so we've got a committee of firefighters and some people off our budget committee. We're going to meet. We were supposed to be done by this weekend, and I talked to both of these 2 companies, so we're pushing it off a week so we can get together and do this. It's probably going to take a couple hours, maybe even a couple nights. If any of you guys want to be involved in that committee, our plan is to have this committee grade everybody and bring up a couple scores and pick a candidate, and then bring that to you guys to the November meeting for approval. There's a bunch of things we have to follow to do this, and then the person that doesn't get the contract can challenge it. And so there's like a 2-week period where they can request, they can actually come down and be interviewed by us on why they didn't get the contract and all that kind of stuff. And we have one that's being really aggressive and been contacting me all the time, trying to do some outside interviews that aren't even part of this process. And I'm just telling them that it's too early. When we rate you guys, then if you have a comment after that, then we'll talk to you. There's others. Let's see. New bank account is in the process of being opened. I think we got 4 signatures down there, right?
Yeah.
You guys are all down there. Mark, you want to go down there, Mark?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, the bank account, we got a new one, and that's the one across from Fred's, right?
Yeah, it's across from Fred's behind the Dutch Brothers stand there.
Yeah. So that, as soon as that's done, we can send the last of the forms to the state. The communications grant with District 2 was unsuccessful. We didn't get it. They're going to reapply, and we're going to try that. So we had the other grant that came up for the DPSST, Department of Public Safety Standards and Training, with the Oregon State Fire Marshal, and that was for a water tender, a Type 3 engine, or a Type 6 engine. So we put in for all 3, with the water tender being a priority to replace the old one, and then the Type 3 engine and the Type 6 engine, which are different styles of brush trucks. So they're going to do that in early 2023. So hopefully, man, if we can pick up one of those or 2 of those, it's going to save us some money in the long run. There's another new grant just came out. There's a Microsoft Teams meeting tomorrow on it. So after we had this Wildland Summer grant, they're talking about now doing a year-round manning grant. The only thing about it is that there's going to be some matching. First of all, we got to find out it's going to be 2 full-time firefighters. I don't know if they're talking about 2 full-time firefighters like we did this summer, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, or if they're talking 2 full-time firefighters on 24-hour shifts, you're actually talking 6 people because you got 3 shifts. So then you're talking a payroll of, say 50 or 60,000 for a firefighter. So 2 of them a year would be 360, then double that because all the other crap would be about 700,000. We'd have to come up with a 10% match on that. So I don't know if we want to do this. I'd love to have full-time firefighters here, but to do it, we might have to do a levy. The first year is a 10% match. That's nice. That's like the 60s. The first year is a 10% match. The second year is a 25% match. The third year goes to 50% match, and they're trying to encourage you to get secure funding to keep it going. And so part of the application process is you have to commit to, what we would commit to is applying for a safer grant to FEMA that would staff it all down the line. So anyway, after tomorrow, I should have an idea whether, if it's going to be the 6 full-time firefighters and all that, we don't have the budget to match.
No, I was going to say, the only option.
70 grand, we're talking almost our entire revenue just to match the grant. So unless we get another grant to match that grant.
Can you pony up a grant to cover the 10%?
Well, yeah, so the 10%, they could do what they call a soft match, and we do that with our VFA grant too, where they give us, we total up all our volunteer hours, training, calls, and all that stuff, and then they credit us per hour. So it used to be $15 an hour, and I think it's up to 20. So we can probably make that 10% match grant just off our volunteer hours.
But not the 25 or the 50.
No, we'd have to start looking at some other stuff. So what I would do is, if we're gonna, what they do, and this is pretty interesting, they give you all the money up front for the 3 years. So you're talking, depending on what we put in for, we could be putting in for a couple $1 million. And then if so we go through the first year, do the 10% match. Maybe we make it to the second year, but we don't make it to the third year, then we gotta get that third year back. But But then at that time, we can also be applying, there is a couple of FEMA grants that would staff manning here. And they're 2-year grants, so it's all overlapping. It's gonna be kind of a mess to take care of.
Well, what happens if we get to the 3rd year and we've got an issue, and we can't raise the cash, you said we have to give the
We
money
have to
back?
give them the rest of their money.
The rest of their money back, we'll get all on the hook for the past?
Right.
Okay,
So that's how I understand it. We'll find out more about that tomorrow.
okay.
I don't wanna commit if it's gonna be that deal. Another part of it is that they'll fund one fire prevention person. And if I was gonna do that, I would look at it more as an administrative person to manage all this grant stuff and everything else. And then we do have the other grants we were talking about last month with the USDA and US Forest Service for the fire reduction projects here in Lookingglass, along the bridges and stuff. That would be something that person would probably have to keep up on, because there's gonna be a lot of keeping up on the money.
Have you heard any more about that grant?
No, I'm trying to join up with DFP and all that stuff. I think it's gonna be we probably won't hear more about it till springtime.
Is that the one, the people who weren't here last month, is that the one that would go up and work up on the top of Whitetail Ridge up
Yeah.
by,
Yeah, and out
Echoes and
yeah,
out my place and,
the Sugar Pine and then Jim and over by the quarry and that series. So, anyway, if we can get that kind of staffing for a year or two and cover those projects, that'd be great, because then we would have somebody here that could follow up on those things all the time. Hey, maybe it's me, I don't know. But it'd be fun. We're gonna have to have somebody keeping up on this stuff. The last thing was SDAO's insurance. Our policy for next year, they sent me the last year's policy, and we're just working over it to make sure everything's right, and then they're gonna send it back by November 1st. That's about it. That's the RFPs. Hopefully by next month we'll figure out who we got, and then they both have calendars in there, but it's about a 3 to 4 month design schedule, and then they're talking about firing off in like June for construction next year, which is gonna come pretty fast.
Yeah, it is, time is moving. So in your chief's report, you pretty much covered all the old business. You talked about the bank account for new business and the seismic grant, RFP process, the evaluation, the OSFM staffing grant, you talked about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you pretty much handled old and new business in that report, which brings us to President's report. I don't have anything to report. Director's report. Do we have a director's report?
no,
Any board member comments on everything that the chief just rolled out?
no.
I do want you guys to know that all this stuff here is on our website. I've entered it all on there, so if you go to the meeting section, you can get one of those personal things for yourself to review.
Okay.
And look at what the process is and stuff.
On these?
Yeah. Or you could take one of those if you want. I also got them on thumb drives too. That was part of the requirement. They had to do too something.
Are these the same?
No, two competitors.
It's kind of interesting.
Because it's public, so you have to open it up for public bid, and it has to be usually more than one. Sometimes there's a requirement if it's 3 or what have you.
They're almost exactly the same. I think there's a bunch of, like inbreeding in these guys, because they're engineers and they're architects, and they're moving back and forth. And they're moving back and forth. Whoever's got the latest project, they're all moving that way, and then they're moving back. So if you look at those things, they're almost exactly the same. So it's going to come down to, there is an issue in that one of them, we would get our initial engineering. We paid $6,500 last year for the initial application and engineering they did around here, drilling holes and stuff. So that would be refunded to us. So the other guy needs to be $6,500.
Cheaper out.
In my opinion, but because that's like 10% of our tax revenue, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
Right.
whatever.
Okay. If there are no board member comments further, we'll lead it to our public. And our public has no items. So our next, if there's nothing further, we can adjourn the meeting.
I do have a question.
Yes? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
Wasn't there a part of the budget we get donations, and in the past, that was used like school supplies for the elementary school,
Right,
and stuff like that?
right. I've done it through our fire prevention. We have a fire prevention budget, about $400 a year or something, so I buy stuff when we do programs over there.
Oh,
I will honestly, we did a program every single year there up till the year of COVID, and I have not had contact with the world since, so this was a year we should probably be doing something. Or maybe we can work, we've done some springtime programs before with them, getting ready for wildland in summer too, so we might be able to pull that off this year.
Is that like our Christmas program we do for the kids over there, or is that something different?
That's different. I'm talking more about education. Are you
Okay.
talking about that kind of donation, the cards?
yeah, and it was like funding people donate in, and that had to be, go out to the public or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was,
Yeah, I came across a COVID kind of need, and I don't know if it was eligible, or I don't know how the whole thing works, but anyway, Douglas High, they're trying to get their band and stuff going again, the marching band and the flag team and all that, and it's almost like they're not recognized by the school.
Well, I offered to help them with that, because I was with the band as a president for, I don't know, 13 years or something like that. And when they were over to the new band director, said, I'm not interested in fundraisers, I'm not interested in the Veterans Day concert, I'm not interested in anything. I said, okay, if you need help, I'll be glad to help. Because we did fundraisers and everything for the band.
Well, she's interested now because they don't have any equipment. Yeah, they're trying to get it rebuilt. Well, last year was real ragtag.
yeah.
This year, man, they got a lot of kids that
I have 2 saxophones.
enthused.
Well, they had a bunch of used equipment that was left there from the last band director that was his. And I don't know, according to my understanding, they were still there when he left.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So I'll call her, and if they, anything I can do to help, I'll be glad to help.
well, yes, the marching band is where
Well, we never
the best
had,
supplies.
we
Like,
never had a marching band up until her starting,
Yeah.
because all we did, we had concert band, jazz band, but we had several classes, you know, for the under kids that weren't quite as good as the, you know, so, we go to
I
a
don't
concert.
think we've ever had marching band, at least one time in school.
No,
we had
no.
marching band.
But I've taken the kids to state and everything else, and I haul more band equipment in my horse trailer, and I have horses. But what's interesting though, when they, before, you know, I had it, while I had anything to do with it, he would go to a concert, not a concert, but a competition, and he'd have 2 or 3 bands. You know, ones are not quite as good, and ones are better, and he had his top concert band. And he had, you know, more kids playing than you could shake a stick at, you know, so.
If you want to coordinate something, we might be able to coordinate something through our website or something too, is that what you're talking about? At least make it, publicize it?
well, I have a donation letter showing kind of the equipment they're looking for, you know, kind of thing. I just didn't know if there was any overage in that account, if it's like, well, we gotta use it up.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know anything about it, that's what I'm just asking.
What are you looking for? Did you have a list of
Well,
something?
we can talk about that.
Yeah, our budget for the Christmas stuff we use to do the cards ends up being about $500 to $700 from donations, and we put that all out. And that's in conjunction with the Grange. We just approved last night, or the other night, to do the same thing. We're doing cards from Sherman's for that, so. Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So,
Okay, then I think, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion?
Yep,